The chairperson of the National COVID-19 Committee of Private Schools, Joseph Kigundu, says more than 200 private schools have been listed for sale on account of COVID-19 lockdown in the country. Joseph Kigundu said hundreds of schools are on sale across the country and school establishments have been restructured into shops and guest houses. Schools were closed in March as a measure to slow the spread of virus, which has visited untold economic pain across the globe since it broke out in China late last year. For schools with loans, interest is increasing and accumulating beyond imagination, Kigundu said. Addressing journalists at Kadundu Rugby Ground in Kampala, Kigundu said the prolonged closure of schools has made the situation worse, forcing many owners to opt for sale as a means to raise income and meet their obligations. He said for the last 6 months, schools have been rendered redundant.
Many of our children have been massively abused due to this prolonged confinement and redundancy. There's been unimaginable numbers of underage pregnancies, I think being from the media. We've had many of our teachers engaging as casual laborers. There's a case of a head teacher was found in one of the trading centers rolling chapatis. And then the children are coming to buy chapatis from their headmaster. We've seen hundreds of schools that have been listed for sale. They're out there, they've been listed, they've been pinned for sale. The proprietors have given up, they've had enough, they are stressed, they are distressed.
He said to avoid more schools being sold, government should quickly reopen the remaining ones. Kigundu said this will mitigate some of the challenges the schools are grappling with. He said when the school lockdown is eventually lifted, many private schools will not reopen. Thousands of jobs, he added, will have been lost and some parents will be forced to find alternative schools for their children. Subsequently, Kigundu hacked the plan for the reopening of schools in phases, starting with candidate classes next month. He added that the proprietors of private schools are ready to observe the COVID-19 guidelines put in place by the Ministry of Health. Flanked by other committee members of the Private Schools Association, Kigundu said the committee submitted its report to State House in July and asked the government to study the situation and generate appropriate SOPs. He said teachers, through different platforms, have been educated on the control and general management of COVID-19. He said the SOPs for the education sector have been disseminated to all private schools and proprietors are ready to implement them when schools open. He added that private schools are struggling to meet operational costs and urged the government to build them out. He also called upon the government to allow teachers access at least 20% of their National Social Security Fund (NSSF). The Committee of Private Schools called upon the government to explain how the 20 billion shilling advance to teachers' savings and credit cooperative societies will be shared.